Hey guys, it's Courtney Carson from Cosmic Clarity Astrology, and we are here today to talk about the Scorpio new moon happening on November 20th. So, what is this new moon bringing up? Well, I do think it's a little bit of an intense period of time, especially because you can see Mercury retrograde here is exactly at 28 Scorpio, which is the same degree as this new moon. So, whenever we have a Mercury retrograde, especially so close to the new moon, we are going to have some topics come up from the past. These could be past feelings, past relationships, people or patterns reemerging, or emotions and things that we've gone through before resurfacing in order to make us confront those old patterns or old feelings or old people through new eyes. And if you have been, rejected by somebody or have experienced maybe fears or just really intense feelings or insecurities or maybe really strong longing or obsession, or any of those things, those are kind of scorpionic in nature. So those might be the things that are emerging now again. It doesn't have to be, but usually Scorpio tends to have a little bit more of a shadow side. So, again, those are the kinds of feelings we might experience. And ultimately, I think that this can be a really freeing new moon because even though there is all this stuff coming up from the past, it is still a new moon, which means that we get to turn over a new leaf. Even more so because this moon is almost exactly opposite Uranus here. So there is this sense of liberation or freeing ourselves from something that is reemerging again or reawakening within us. So this could look like having sudden downloads or sudden insight, having some kind of creative breakthrough, having a very clarifying conversation, or having an idea come to you. This could look like making the right decision for you after a period of confusion or anxiety or uncertainty about what direction you want to go in with something. It could feel like you are like things have been maybe a little bit cloudy or mysterious with this Scorpio energy. Maybe there were things that were hidden or secretive or emotions underneath the surface that were guiding you, but you listen to your intuition with the Scorpio energy and you allow yourself to do something that gets you like mentally unblocked, mentally unstuck. So it's going to look different for everybody. But if you are noticing that, if like a similar thought pattern pops up from the past, this Uranus opposition can help you get out of it somehow by having some type of realization. It could also look like dropping your baggage. So if you've been really holding on to certain emotions and maybe feeling really guarded, which is very Scorpio, lacking trust, or feeling feeling some kind of internal resistance to something, then this Uranus opposition can help you be honest with yourself and release that baggage or release that guard so that you can focus more on what you really, really want. There is a Grand Trine. I mean, it's kind of like a kite, but I'm going to focus more on the Grand Trine aspect. So it's a Grand Water Trine between the new moon, Saturn and Neptune, and Jupiter in Cancer. And Grand Trines, especially in water signs, are a lot around going with the flow and loosening resistance and trusting your intuition with things. So again, I think that if there has been some type of mental blockage, I can see us finally starting to pick up momentum and release that and blockage and go a little bit more with the flow of our instinct, because I think that we're able to see some truth very clearly. And again, I think that's related to this moon opposite Uranus. Also, the nature of Scorpio and of Pluto is to dig out the truth, to unearth the truth. And Mars, the ruler of this new moon, is in Sagittarius, which is the sign most associated with truth and meaning. So again, we just have a lot here around seeing something clearly, owning up to something, being honest about something, the truth coming out about something, and that setting us free. Not to make a quote here. But yeah, there's something about like putting our energy into what we want to manifest in a way that is uninhibited, rather than wasting energy on past emotions, past circumstances, the drama of the mind, not deciding that we're not going to focus on that. We're not going to focus on the messiness and the drama. Instead, we're going to focus on the thing that is most important to us and get moving on that, on what our truth is. So there's something here around like prioritization that is going to be very clear. With Black Moon Lilith on this new moon, it is possible to have Black Moon Lilith type of issues come up where we could feel like we compare ourselves, or we could feel jealous, or there could be something involved in cheating or wanting to cheat. Having triangulated relationships is very common. Like I see this very commonly in siblings, where one sibling is treated differently than another, or one parent treats us differently than another, just stuff like that, where there's an imbalance, or like a party of three in a relationship dynamic. So that's very possible to be here. There could be some level of deceit, criticism, manipulation, gossip, bitterness, harshness that comes in with the Scorpio new moon. But that's the thing that I think we are meant to be releasing ourselves from with this Uranus opposition, and being honest and truthful. So if you have been comparing yourself, or if you've been jealous, or if you've been wanting to manipulate or wanting to deceive, or if you've been rejected and you're focusing on that, it's like, how do we liberate ourselves from that pattern? Because it is connected to something from the past with this Mercury retrograde. It's not something that is necessarily like completely new. So if this shadow is appearing, it's because it's tied to something from a past situation, or a past emotion or experience. I hope this is making sense for whatever you're going through, because I feel like it can manifest in really, really different ways for everybody. But I think that part of this Grand Water Trine is going to help us process some of these feelings and, again, release them in some kind of big purge. And that's related to Uranus being at the apex of the kite, and then also Pluto being at an apex of a kite. Again, I didn't want to get super into the kite thing because it's not really, really strong aspect. But if Pluto is at the apex of a kite, it is about like unearthing these kind of compulsions that we might have, or obsessions or fears, or even like self-destructive habits. That's very common with a Scorpio Pluto type of moon, where we're becoming aware of how certain patterns within ourselves, certain emotions within ourselves can actually be kind of self-destructive. And so it's important to ask, with Mars in Sagittarius ruling over the Scorpio stellium, it's important to ask, how do we create progress? How do we create movement? How do we create freedom so that we are not stuck in this energy of self-destruction and shadow and like attachment to kind of toxic patterns or behaviors or emotions or thoughts that keep us preoccupied with the drama and not moving forward? Does that make sense? No one's here to answer me, but let me know in the comments. I'm just reading my notes if you see me looking down. So ultimately, when we are able to move forward with this Mars in Sagittarius, I think we can move forward quite quickly. Actually, even despite Mercury retrograde, I think we can actually move forward quite quickly and confidently towards our desires with a sense of confidence and self-assuredness and fearlessness. Bold action. Mars in Sagittarius, Mars in a fire sign, bold, confident action. And with the ultimate principle, with this moon making this trine to Saturn and Neptune, and Jupiter, but with the ultimate principle of being grounded and reliable. So we're not just moving forward haphazardly. There is a sense of intentionality. There's a sense of purpose or a direction, a meaning, again, some kind of like larger mission. So there's something here around that where we're meant to be quite principled, reliable, determined, laying the groundwork, laying the foundation for something that we want to see through to completion, rather than acting from the throes of passion or acting impulsively or acting from a shadow self and burning really bright and then it turning toxic or it falling through or not being consistent. No, this is about a persistence and dedication to something, to a craft, to a relationship, to a desire, to your healing, to your health, whatever this is. And Scorpio, as a fixed water sign, it can have that ability to maintain obsessive focus on a desired outcome. And with Mars and Sagittarius, in particular, when that desired outcome is linked with a higher meaning or purpose in your life. What is this connected to outside of yourself? Why be obsessed with this thing? What is it going to serve you as a soul? And I think that that's what this Grand Water Trine can do. It can help us connect to our soul and to our intuition and instinct on what that purpose is and why we're doing what we're doing. And I think another aspect of the Grand Water Trine is the sense of inaction, because water tends to be a passive element. It goes with the flow, literally. So there's something about this where I think that there is something here around not creating resistance, going with, like, again, where your intuition or instinct wants you to go, but not from a shadow place. And I think that's the key here, because we might have a compulsion to move based off of shadowy feelings, like moving based off of fear, moving based off of lust, moving based off of past rejections and wanting to prove ourselves, like vindication. Like, those are kind of shadow emotions that can drive us. Instead, with this Grand Water Trine, how can we move based off of what our intuition is really telling us, even if that is subtle? And it can feel like once we're doing that thing that our intuition told us to do, it can feel easy. Again, like it should feel really easy and really healing. And like you could do that thing or be around that person or move towards that goal or whatever infinitely, and it wouldn't tire you, kind of thing. It gives you energy. And so this Grand Water Trine, I think one of the things that we can think about is what we don't do right now is equally as important as what we do. So there's something about the inaction that is going to play a really big role in our well-being, in our success, in our health, in our happiness, in our balance, in our peace, in our healing, to focus on what we also aren't going to participate in, or where we're going to just be passive or cautious. The other thing is, the shadow side of a Grand Water Trine is that we could feel defeated or powerless. And we could just kind of put our hands up like, okay, well, I don't know if I can do this. I'm insecure. I'm uncertain. I'm not going to act on the things that I want. So that's the shadow side. But instead, we're meant to be following our instinct and intuition and be receptive to the spontaneous circumstances that arise with this Uranus opposition, maybe spontaneously meeting somebody, and acting on that new relationship, trying to hang out, trying to meet up. There's definitely something there with this Uranus opposition. When I was pulling cards, I was seeing something around having some type of meeting point with somebody that you can work with. It felt very collaborative. So this could be a romantic interest, but I think for a lot of us, there's something here around a person coming into your sphere that is going to help propel you towards a specific mission or goal or something in your life that you want or need. Almost like either a support system, a mentor, a friend, again, a collaborator, someone who can help work with you on something to kind of keep you on track with something. So yeah, there might be a new relationship or a relationship that takes on a new role in your life where you are actually working together to create something. This could be a soulmate for some of you, but I think there's something here around, again, more so having a breakthrough because of the way that you are bouncing ideas off of somebody, or you're having an important conversation with somebody, or being honest with somebody. So this could be an existing relationship that you are improving and making more progress with that relationship. This could be a new one, again, and somebody coming in to support your goals, which are separate from the relationship. So it's going to kind of be different for different people, whether it's focused on the relationship itself or that person is serving you in some other mission. But regardless, there is this energy of collaboration, unity, clarity, and creativity as you come together with this person. And I think ultimately the purpose of that is to create a feeling of being quite carefree, with Uranus here opposite this new moon, where we could get stuck in the drama. The Uranus opposition wants us to be free and carefree and not stuck in the drama. It wants us to have happy accidents, happy coincidences, happy meetups with people, and to act quickly on these opportunities and feel excited about them. This is kind of the positive energy of the Scorpio new moon. And I think it can be really positive because of this Grand Water Trine, and this beautiful trine with Jupiter in particular. But it can also go into the toxic pattern. So that's something that we have to consciously choose at this time. And the choice really is yours. So if you enjoyed this, if this is helpful for you, let me know in the comments down below. I am recording this during Mercury retrograde, so bear with me if it's all over the place. But yeah, if you don't mind, I would really appreciate you liking the video, subscribing, commenting, and then you can also check out the individual message for your rising and sun sign down below. All right, so this is my second time recording this, Aries, and it is Mercury retrograde. So of course, my recording software just deleted everything I just did. So we're going to jump into this for you guys, and hopefully it will be succinct. So I am pulling cards on two different questions. One is, what is the shadow? And then the other is, what is the breakthrough? With this new moon in Scorpio being in your 8th house, I think that part of what the shadow is that there have been maybe certain fears or uncertainty or self-doubt that have clouded your judgment without you realizing it, and have allowed you to maybe make excuses to disperse your energy on trivial things and distract yourself rather than be clear on what you really want and move towards that. And this new moon, I see you overcoming that. So with the Queen of Pentacles and the self-care card, this to me is somebody who, again, is saying that, oh, I really need to rest. I've had a long day. I need to take care of myself. I need to do this and that. And really it's coming from, again, a place of kind of hiding from your own resistance towards something. And this could specifically be you, again, maybe going on your phone or distracting yourself throughout the day, or tying your emotions up in drama or worry about certain things, and not freeing up the emotional energy and focus that you can use for the things that you really want. I see that with the Knight of Wands and Page of Swords in reverse. This is somebody who isn't finishing what they start because their energy and their mind is quite scattered. And I think that Mars being in Sagittarius in your 9th house, and Mars being your planetary ruler as well as the ruler of this new moon, it's telling you to get focused on what it is that you want in terms of like a higher purpose, a higher meaning, a larger truth, a bigger why. And if you've been allowing yourself to waste time and energy and attention on trivial matters, and again, things that maybe distract you, like gossip or TV or going on your phone, because these are the most common things, or worrying about other people's issues. That's a very Scorpio thing. If there's any of that going on, it's ultimately a way to distract yourself. And the purpose of this new moon is to come back to your center around what it is that is really important to you. With Uranus in the second house opposite this new moon, it's about understanding your priorities, your values, your, again, intentions with things. And I just see that you guys are coming back to that. Like, what is it that I really want to spend my resources on? My energetic resources, my emotional resources, my money, my time. And if you're scrolling through your phone and watching rage bait, you're giving emotional resources to things that don't add value to your life. So this Mars and Sagittarius in the ninth is helping you regain truth and momentum and focus and clarity. And that's part of the breakthrough with this Fox card representing the breakthrough. This is somebody who is strategic. They know where to put their focus and energy and attention in order to have the best possible results, in order to be efficient, in order to be productive. And so there's something about this where you guys maybe need to, you're on a larger mission with North Node in 12th, South Node in 6th, to learn how to balance your productivity and your work with your rest. And that, I think, in many ways can also show itself as sometimes not wanting to rest, but also like when you do rest, maybe using that as not true rest and using that as like brain rot rather than doing things that fill your cup up. So the Fox card is somebody who's acting from a strategic point, who knows how to truly rest, who knows how to truly work, who knows how to truly have the most effective schedule, I guess, the most effective strategy for forward momentum. Because there's a way to say that you're resting and say that you're working that isn't really doing either of those things well at all. But I see you guys are getting really clear on what it is that you want with the Nine of Cups, and being able to own that you want this wholeheartedly. Because I think part of the reason with this inner betrayal is almost like you allowed yourself to not want it for a second, or make these excuses because of maybe complicated emotions around wanting this, or maybe not. But regardless, I see you guys really owning that you want this, being very clear on what it is that you want. And because of that, I think you are moving in that direction wholeheartedly, rather than allowing yourself to get distracted by things that are not as meaningful to you. And the Page of Wands represents somebody who is really creatively inspired now, somebody who is excited about waking up and working on this thing, or excited about taking some kind of chance on something. It's like you're finally freeing up the energy that was once distracted and preoccupied with other things that are not as important to you. You're finally using that now to put towards the thing that you really, really want. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys, this kind of clarity of focus and intention. And it's going to help you move forward quickly towards some kind of important goal, rather than not finish things or waste time on things or scatter yourself. I see you guys honing things in and moving forward. So if you enjoyed this, if this is helpful for you, Aries, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and make sure that you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Taurus rising and sun. The Scorpio new moon on November 20th is taking place in your 7th house. And I definitely think this huge stellium in Scorpio is bringing up some shadow elements of ourself, but it's opposing Uranus in your 1st house in Taurus. And it is going to help us release ourselves and have some kind of breakthrough around that shadow element. So that's what I'm pulling cards on today. What is the shadow? And then what is the breakthrough? So I want to start off with the Judgment, with the Shadow, with the Judgment, the Eight of Wands in reverse, and the Justice in reverse. I feel like you guys have maybe felt with this new moon being in your relationship sector, maybe you have been reintroducing yourself out into the world socially, relationally. This could be you trying to meet new people. This could be you trying to get a job or a contract with a company. This could be you trying to put yourself out there, make friends, or meet a partner or go on dating apps, whatever. This Taurus, this Scorpio new moon can indicate kind of trying to branch out or extend an olive branch, or try to heal something in a relationship, or move past something, or find someone new, or again, there's something around that where you're like reaching out in some way. And I feel like it's maybe not happening, like you're not being necessarily received in the way that you would want, or you are maybe feeling some kind of slowness or rejection. So it's like, oh, I want this thing, but it's not moving as quickly as I would like. I'm not feeling like I'm getting reciprocated in the same way that I'm showing up. I'm applying for all these jobs and I'm not getting responses. I'm trying to hang out with my friends and they're not answering me. I'm trying to go on dates, but these guys don't seem to really like me, or girls, or whatever. So yeah, there's something here around feeling like you're being judged, or you're judging the situation that you're experiencing, where things aren't really flowing and reciprocating in the way that you want. This, like, maybe it's moving forward really slowly and you're like, what the hell? It doesn't just have to be relationships, but I'm going to say for most of you, it's something related to an agreement, a contract, a negotiation, a relationship dynamic, an emotional conversation. There's something with that. And I think that it's causing you in the shadow to go into your escapist tendencies, fantasizing about things, projecting things onto people, or seeing things that aren't there. It's like kind of going into a place that allows you to numb out by disconnecting and escaping. And with the Four of Swords in reverse and Three of Wands in reverse, I feel like it's not being received properly is making, and not being reciprocated properly is making you kind of retreat back into your shell. I think in certain ways, like you want to go out, but then you're also having trepidation on like putting yourself out there, or you're wanting to fight for something or vouch for something, or maybe apply for more jobs. Like you're wanting to do that. You're wanting to get out into the world more in some way and extend yourself more. But then with the Three of Wands in reverse, I also see some uncertainty around that, some cautiousness around that, some fear, because of what's been going on. So what I'm seeing at the Scorpio new moon is some kind of breakthrough happening for you, where there is going to be, maybe with the Woman card, maybe you meet a new person in your life, maybe a woman, for example, or a friend. Maybe somebody comes through for you in some capacity, where you get some kind of support system. With the Six of Pentacles and the Four of Cups in reverse, I feel like you are finally going to get somebody who matches you, or somebody is going to show up and support you in some way, like having a really good friend to rely on, or having that contract come through. Even if it's not the thing that you're reaching out for necessarily, I could see some type of reciprocation happening, maybe from a different like person or entity than you expected. So regardless, I'm seeing some kind of support coming through where you once maybe felt lack. And the Four of Cups in reverse is you feeling like you can re-engage with life, like you can say yes to something, that you can say yes to some kind of social plan, or I don't know. It's like feeling like you can, where you were once uncertain or apathetic or saying no to things, this is you saying yes and being excited again. And then the Home card is you guys feeling like maybe you're finally getting out of your house. Some of you guys, if you've been wanting a house in particular, or having more emotional or financial security as a result of this, like if that's something that you've been reaching out for, then this is a confirmation that that's something that you will receive. So something around the house, the home, the family, if you've been having something going on with like your kids, This is seeing some kind of like balance being restored to that situation. So yeah, I'm saying essentially that there needs to be this kind of, I feel like you guys don't need to change something necessarily. I think it's more so that you guys need somebody to meet you in the middle, to be reciprocated in some way. And because otherwise you're going to keep fantasizing about things, and escaping. So that's what I think is actually going to happen at this Scorpio new moon. I think you're finally going to have that you meet your match, or get some kind of support, some kind of security that is going to allow you to feel like, okay, so I can put myself out there. I can say yes to things. I can extend that olive branch, or whatever that thing is. I can reach for more, and not just continue to be rejected, but in fact be accepted or invited even. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Taurus. I hope that makes sense and that's helpful for you. Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hype this video, share with your friends, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Gemini rising and sun. The Scorpio new moon on November 20th is taking place in your 6th house. And I have been talking about how there's this huge stellium in Scorpio, and it's bringing up some kind of shadow within ourselves. And it is opposite Uranus in your 12th, which is indicating that there is some type of breakthrough around that shadow. So that's what I'm going to break down in the cards today. So first of all, what is a shadow? I have the 9 of Cups and the Devil card. There is some kind of wish that you desire, maybe something pure, something beautiful in your life, but it is becoming distorted with the Devil card into an addiction, an attachment, a lustfulness, like a distorted and view of something that's really meant to be pure and loving. So there's something that you desire that may be not, again, it's being twisted into like a darker way, or it's being looked at through an unhealthy lens. And it might be around something with the High Priestess in reverse that is unattainable, something that feels like just out of reach, that is ephemeral. It's like being attracted to something that has a mystery around it, or that has this element of, I think especially with the Uranus opposition in 12, something that is like hidden. And I think it largely has to do with elements of yourself, like where you are maybe repressing certain aspects of your own intuition around something. You know, it's like, oh, I want that thing, but you, like, let's say for example you want a job because this is in your 6th house, or a relationship. Maybe you have like a true pure desire, but then it gets distorted when you start seeing the options out there, and you're like, oh, but like this job looks interesting, even though that job actually wouldn't suit you at all, and it could inspire like negative traits within you, or maybe you start lusting after somebody and attracted to somebody that is kind of out of reach. So something like that going on, where it's like the pure desire is distorted, and the High Priestess in reverse can indicate not really listening to your intuition around this thing, and wanting maybe something that is like not in your best interest, or that is coming from a place of toxicity or attachment rather than that pure place. It's again because that pure thing is being distorted. With the 4 of Cups and the moon, this is you again lacking self-awareness and not really allowing yourself to come to a place of enlightenment. But this is part of the shadow. This is something that you're obviously overcoming. With the Enlightenment card, again, this is part of the shadow of not seeing something clearly, not illuminating something. But this Uranus opposite the Scorpio new moon is going to illuminate. So it is going to make clear what was hidden. So we have the 7 of Wands. This is the breakthrough energy. This is you fending off the toxic pattern of wanting to move towards something that isn't good for you, or that is a distortion of a true heart's wish. So this is like with the King of Pentacles in reverse, this is this is you fighting off something that is kind of ungrounded or again, unhealthy in some way. I think for a lot of you, this could be about relationships or something with work, because this new moon's in the 6th, and then the ruler of the moon is Mars and Sag in the 7th house. There might be an impulsive desire with the Knight of Wands in reverse that you are pushing down, that you are tampering. Maybe some kind of lust, or maybe some kind of unrealistic, ungrounded desire that is going to come from a place of poor judgment, or yeah. So that's what I'm seeing. I think that you guys are fighting off that poor judgment and coming to a place of self-control. So instead of like jumping impulsively into something, or running towards something that could end up in you getting hurt, or somebody else getting hurt, or some kind of crisis, or some kind of loss, I see you guys guarding yourself from that, protecting yourself from that by fighting off the inner demons, or the temptation even, and coming to a place of good judgment. And you're going to do that through the key card, which is unlocking something within you. It's making something clear. So there's something about the shadow self that is going to be revealed, something about your inner nature that's going to be revealed, or something about what you desire, or the situation that's going to make itself clear. So maybe it's something externally and not even within you. Maybe it's something externally that you're going to see a lot clearer, and it's going to show you, oh, that's definitely not the job you want. That's definitely not the relationship you want, or the path you want to go down. So there's something about that where, again, it's something that you will see in yourself, in the person, or in the situation, that is going to unlock the full circumstance, the full view, and you're going to be able to resist the temptation of going towards something that is actually coming from a place of attachment, toxicity, negativity in some fashion. So this Uranus is about awakening you to the temptation and enlightening you to what it is that is really going on within you underneath the surface that is drawing you towards that to begin with. So that's what I see for you, Gemini. If that relates to, if that is helpful for you, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hype the video, share with your friends. Any support is appreciated, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Cancer, Rising, and Sun. This Scorpio new moon on November 20th is taking place in your 5th house. And I'm going to break the cards down for you guys and weave in the astrology. But basically what I'm seeing for this new moon is that there is some kind of shadow that has been lingering in our psyche that this new moon is going to illuminate. And then we're going to have some kind of breakthrough with, well, hopefully, if we follow our intuition, we're going to have some kind of breakthrough with this Uranus opposition to the new moon, which is in your 11th house. So let's go ahead and break this down. So starting off with the shadow element, I pulled She Who Is Wild and She Who Guides, New Path, Guide, Renewal, Untamed, Wild, and Mysterious. So to me, this indicates that there is some kind of path that maybe is sort of new for you. Maybe you are experimenting, you're trying something new. You want to try something new that is maybe related to like trying something again, especially with this Mercury retrograde. Like maybe you've kind of dabbled in it or thought about it for a while, but now you're wanting to like really go all in with it. Or maybe you've tried at it before and you failed at it and you want to try it again. Or maybe, you're trying it in a new way or experimenting with something. Or maybe it's an entirely new path that you've just considered for a second that is coming back in and you're like, okay, maybe I should do that. Or maybe you just started that new path. But regardless, whatever the situation, I'm seeing with the wild card that there's a lot of uncertainty on that path. The visual that I got is when you go trekking in an unmarked area without a trail, you kind of have to bushwhack and like cut down stuff to get through the brush. And that's what I was seeing for you guys of you're going into unmarked territory in your life. And as a result, you are, and it doesn't mean that you haven't, and again, you could have been there before with Mercury retrograde, but it's something that hasn't been mastered. It's something that you haven't successfully done before. And because of, or you have, but then you've had a failure in between. Like there's some kind of overgrowth of emotion, of resistance because of past failure or fear of failure or uncertainty around how something will unfold. And so there's like a lot of that wild brush or bushes or trees in the way of shrubbery that is causing like mental anguish. And I see that with the Nine of Swords, like you kind of getting in your head with something. And this is something that you really want with the Scorpio new moon. This is something that really feels like an extension of you. This could literally be you wanting to get pregnant after a stillbirth, or this could be you wanting to like pursue some type of creative venture, or put your business out there that you've always wanted to do, or put yourself out there on a date after feeling like you've been rejected a bunch. There's something around that where it's like you really want this thing, but you have a lot of this anxiety and fear around it. A lot of, just fears with the Nine of Swords. It's often unwarranted fears, but just fears nonetheless. And with the Five of Cups and Five of Swords, I really feel like this is something that you have had disappointments in the past, or you have had like internal arguments or stress or resistance around this. Yeah, just something around this created conflict within you, or has been bringing up conflict within you if you've just started it. And with the Three of Wands and the Six of Wands in reverse, I feel like maybe this path is not as easy as you thought it would be. It's not like when you go, it sounds really sexy and exciting of like, I'm going to go hiking in the mountain, this unmarked trail. Like that might sound really fun, but then when you're getting bit by bugs and maybe you don't know if there's wildlife and you have thorns kind of scraping your skin and you're trying to hack away at these things, it's not rewarding feeling and like this glorious feeling to be doing that. And that's kind of what I see with the Three of Wands, the Six of Wands in reverse, is maybe you started this new path and you felt like you weren't getting the accolades, or you weren't getting the recognition, or you're not feeling like things are immediately breaking new ground. It might feel like there's like, it's not like things aren't coming to fruition in the way that you wanted. And so it can create this, again, this fear around like, am I even doing the right thing? Is this the right idea? Should I even be doing this? I don't know. That's what I'm seeing for the shadow. So for the breakthrough, and this is again coming from Uranus opposition, this is Uranus in your 11th. So this to me is saying you need to play the long game. You need to recognize that this intention is going to take time and that you are going to get some results now, but it's more about stability with this anchor card. It's about anchoring into this vision that you have for your life or for yourself and not giving up hope so easily. You have to put effort in. You really have to hack away at those bushes, because life isn't going to just give it to you. The things that are worth working for are going to be difficult at times to obtain. So this anchor card is telling you to anchor into that and the part of the break that you're having is becoming like steadfast and almost like reliable in this desire or in this goal. And it's important because this is something with the Nine of Cups and Six of Cups. It's something that you've always wanted. And it could be, again, related to children with the Six of Cups and with this being new moon in your 5th. Maybe some of you guys do want children and it's a long-term goal of yours. Regardless, it doesn't have to be about children, but it's something that you've always really wanted, or something that like really suits your inner child or your inner nature, or something that's going to be very fulfilling for you. And with the Page of Cups, you are very intuitively guided to it. So I think that you're feeling, I feel like you're going to get better at like staying inspired, I guess, and I think part of this is also like the Six of Cups, the new moon being in the 5th, and also Mars being in Sag, which is the ruler of this moon. I'm seeing this ability to feel like playful in the pursuit of this thing. Instead of being worried about how it's received or if it's going to go well. Like if you're trying to have kids, instead of like tracking your ovulation and worrying about this and worrying about that, it's like, what if you just have fun sleeping with your partner and make that the goal about having a good and pleasurable life? And so there's something about this where it's like, let's make the pursuit of it enjoyable, pleasurable. Let's make it childlike, fun, playful, and let go and walk away from this like really strong attachment with the devil card to a particular outcome, or to, you know, the judgment that you might put on yourself if you're not reaching certain milestones at certain times. It's like, let the burden of it go. And that's what I think you're freeing yourself from with Uranus in the 11th. You have the long vision in mind, the long game in mind, but I also don't think that you are going to worry about that vision and get super attached to it, in the sense that you're going to like take it so seriously. And if you're not hitting certain milestones by certain times, then you're going to freak out and get stressed. No, it's like, no, what if we have that vision in mind, but move towards it with excitement and inspiration? And with the 10 of Wands in reverse, drop the feeling that it has to be difficult, the feeling that it has to be something strenuous or painful. It's like, what if it can just be easy? What if it can just be fun? And that comes from not being attached as much to every little goalpost along the way. And with the Queen of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups, I definitely think that you're going to get what you want. This is saying that you are going to have your wish fulfilled. You're going to have your cake and eat it too. You're going to have this material thing come into your reality, but you're going to do it from a place of nurturing yourself, from a place of fulfilling yourself emotionally and centering it around that, rather than around these expectations that you might put on yourself, because that's part of the shadow, is certain expectations not being met and then feeling really defeated by that. But that's not really what the goal is. It's the goal, the ultimate purpose of the goal, which Mars and Sag wants you to maintain your connection to. The ultimate purpose of the goal is to grow as a person, is to be fulfilled as a person, is to enjoy the process of life. And you don't want to lose sight of that in pursuit of this. So this Grand Water Trine of the new moon trining Neptune and Saturn in your 9th, and Jupiter and Cancer in your 1st, it's indicating that this is a growth mindset, a mindset of prosperity, a mindset of pleasure and enjoyment, and maintaining your connection to that despite the ebbs and flows along the way. That's like if you were hacking in that wilderness, feeling like you are stoked and like about that, and maintaining the sense of adventure, rather than focusing on how hard it might be at times. So I hope that that is an answer to any question that you came with today. And if so, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to also give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Leo rising and sun. The Scorpio new moon happening on November 20th is taking place in your 4th house, and it is opposite Uranus in the 10th. So how I'm seeing this new moon is some type of shadow being illuminated, and then the Uranus opposition helping us break through that shadow and come to a more positive conclusion. So I am going to I pulled cards, and I'm going to walk you through what the shadow is and what the breakthrough is. So first of all, I feel like there might be something going on in terms of not fully allowing yourself to rest or have a sense of peace. I can see that with the she who calms, stillness, purity, and quiet. And with this new moon being in the 4th house, which is typically a house of rest, there might be something here of, just like not being at peace in your soul about something, emotionally not feeling secure about something within your family, within your finances, or within when you think about your future in regards to something. You might feel restless, you might feel anxious, you might feel really busy, or like you just aren't letting yourself relax into something or feel, again, at peace with something. So that's kind of the sense that I'm getting here. And I feel like maybe you guys are just saying yes to a lot of opportunities with the Ace of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, 4 of Swords, and the 4 of Swords, and then 8 of Wands in reverse. So yeah, I feel like you guys, again, might be saying yes to kind of every opportunity that comes your way, or maybe you have not always. Maybe you've just been trying to do too much on your plate, or your mind has been going in a lot of different directions, but there's this feeling of like having a lot of stimulation. again, and not maybe fully like allowing yourself to rest. So that's part of this. The other half of this is the shadow around maybe judgment. I can see with observe, perceive, and scrutinize. So there might be something in your life or about yourself or that you're getting from other people where you feel like you are judging yourself about it. With the Judgment card, the 5 of Cups, and the Moon card, there might be something where you have judged yourself for past mistakes, or you regret doing something, or you are just making yourself like feel bad about something that maybe is like somewhat outside of your control with the Moon card, or maybe there's a lot more to it than that, or maybe you're judging yourself for how you feel about something. But yeah, there's just something here where I feel like this lack of peace within your soul about something, and then not fully resting or feeling at peace, and getting overstimulated by it, and then judging yourself about it as well. Or that could be even a separate thing. So that's the shadow that I'm seeing. So the breakthrough that I think that you guys are going to have is likely going to be from this Uranus opposition in the 10th, but also I think it's coming from the Grand Water Trine, which this new moon is trining Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your 8th, and trining Jupiter and Cancer in your 12th. So there's something very emotional and spiritual and a lot about like releasing here that's happening, that I think you guys are going to, it's going to give you relief by coming into maybe having time alone, or like a transcendental kind of spiritual experience, or maybe talking to a therapist. Like something like that is going to help you, I think, in many ways bring peace and relief. And I think with the 4 of Wands and the 2 of Cups, there might be something in your life that happens that brings you this sense of wholeness again. This is also like very much a soulmate kind of energy. So if your relationships or your love life has been part of what's distressing you, and part of where you've been having judgment, then I can see you guys maybe having some kind of relationship come in that helps you feel balanced, or some change in your relationship that helps you feel balanced. This could be family relationships, if that has been bothering you, or finances, whatever has been leading you to this lack of peace. I see that coming into stability or security. I also think that you're going to be able to spot with the snake and the woman what is undermining you. So this could be, if you are a woman, this could be talking about you, where maybe something is, maybe you are undermining something in your life, but this could also be somebody else. Kind of spotting the snake in the grass mentally, emotionally. If this is another person, then them. But spotting the problem, I guess, that was maybe hidden or deceptive, and pointing out, or discovering what the thing was that was disrupting the peace within your household or within your emotional center. Bringing that to light, because I think that will help in a big way. And then from there, with this Uranus opposition, I think in the 10th, I think it's also a lot about, okay, now that I see where that snake is, where do we go from here? How do I create a plan to move things forward in my life in a way that is going to create stability? And I can see that with the 2 of Wands. This is you kind of looking into the future around how to create that peace, or how to create the security, or come back to a plan to come back to yourself. Or with the Page of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles in reverse, maybe it's about not undoing something, but like changing your approach. Like maybe you keep trying to do something one way, or maybe you're trying to make something work with one venture or one attitude, but you need to try another way. So that's what I'm seeing here, is pivoting, basically. I think that you need to make a plan to kind of pivot your approach for how you look at something or how you handle something in your life. And that is what is going to bring you the sense of stability and peace, and maybe soulmate energy, or whatever this is. So yeah, I think that there's something disrupting your peace, and you're judging yourself for it, or judging someone else. But there's maybe more than meets the eye. And I think you're going to uncover what that snake in the grass is, what that deceptive energy is that's undermining you, and create a plan to get out of it and come back into your stability and peace once more. I'm going to leave it at that. But that's what I see for you, Leo. If that resonates, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Share with your friends. Hype the video. Any support is really appreciated. And I hope that you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right. I see a Virgo rising and sun. So this Scorpio new moon on November 20th is happening in your 3rd house. And this is a new moon that is going to likely bring up quite a bit of shadow sides of ourself or our life, because that's the nature of Scorpio. But it is opposite Uranus, which is going to have some kind of breakthrough, truth, or clarity or unveiling that will allow us to get out of the shadow that's presented. And there's also a Grand Trine that I think will help us as well. So I pulled some cards to reflect on what is part of the shadow. So we have the 7 of Swords in reverse and the Strength card, as well as the Fantasy or Dreams card. So I think that some of you guys could be using your fantasy, your imagination, your mind, because this is a new moon 3rd house of the mind, to escape into a reality that is maybe like unhealthy or unrealistic or ungrounded in some way, that is going to lead to an imbalance in your life or your well-being. And I can see with the 7 of Swords in reverse and the Strength card upright, this could be leading to kind of like self-deception or deception of others, or self-sabotage, or undoing something in a sneaky, underhanded way in your own mental life, in your own world, or in somebody else's life. So there's something about this that needs to be controlled with the Strength card, where you're meant to overpower that underhanded kind of sneaky energy. So if your mind is wandering into dark places, or is again kind of sabotaging you, and that can look like many different things, or is again being deceptive in some way, or manipulating something in some way, or maybe you want to do that in the way that you think or communicate to others, this is your time to be aware of that. With that Strength card, that Strength card represents kind of taming the beast within. So there might be some type of beast within that pulls you towards shadowy desires or shadowy communication. Again, maybe like wanting to manipulate something or someone. Those are just examples. We have the 5 of Cups, Ace of Swords in reverse, and then the Page of Wands. So if you're lonely, or if you are feeling negative feelings, you might find that your judgment with the Ace of Swords in reverse and the Page of Wands becomes impaired, and you might be a little bit more impulsive and make the wrong decisions. But your logic can be swayed by these heavier emotions that you might be trying to avoid or escape. So I think that's at the nature of this Scorpio new moon, is these intense feelings that can have us react in self-destructive ways. And in particular, this is around the mind, especially with this being in the 3rd house, or even how you communicate with others. So the breakthrough with this Uranus opposite the new moon in the 3rd, and Uranus being in the 9th, this is about having truth, having clarity, having moral integrity, having alignment with your belief systems. And I see that with this Queen of Swords and the Judgment card. This is you. The breakthrough is that you're going to align more with your sense of integrity, like I was saying. What is honest, and kind of like the Judgment card can be judging your thoughts against your higher moral code. So maybe you have a certain thought against yourself or another person, or something, again, kind of dark or shadowy or deceptive or whatever, but you're looking at it in comparison to what is true, what is just, what is right, what is good, what you believe about life. So it's like you're not just accepting these baser thoughts or baser instincts that you have within your relationship to yourself or to others. You are judging them in a way that I think is going to open up your mind to the fuller context. So let's say with that 7 of Swords, if this is within yourself, maybe you have a pattern of escaping through social media or addiction or I don't know, whatever. And your mind kind of wants to go there. But this is you pulling those thoughts up or those patterns up and looking at them more clearly and comparing them to what it is that you really want to experience, what it is that's going to give you a sense of freedom and liberation in your own heart and mind, rather than going down this path of distraction. And we have the Anchor, which is a card about creating stability within yourself. So if there is some kind of thought or social interaction, or maybe you're fighting with people online or gossiping or whatever, if there's something like that that you're doing, it's leading you down a path of creating instability in your life. The Anchor card wants you to create stability by seeking, again, what is true, what is just, what is right, what is fair, and what holds up with your values. And with the Four of Cups and the Four of Wands, this represents saying no to thoughts, actions, people, decisions, behaviors, emotions, even saying no to engaging in those things that are going to disrupt your sense of stability, your inner harmony, the peace within your home, within your family, within your environment. You've worked hard for that sense of stability and that sense of like happiness and cultivating well-being in your life. And this Four of Cups wants you to reject the experiences that will pull you off center in some kind of way, especially when it comes to third house topics, which is the mind, communication, social media, information that you intake. Maybe this is you watching a bunch of stuff online that's throwing you off. Whatever it is, it's like, let's protect your peace. Let's protect your sense of stability. And let's focus on what is true. With this Seven of Swords, there can be quite a bit of lies and deception with yourself, with others. We want to focus on what is true and what is right. So that's what I see for you, Virgo. I hope that makes sense for you. Let me know in the comments down below if it does. I would really love to hear your experiences with this. Don't forget to also support my video by giving me a like, by commenting, by subscribing, and hyping the video. And I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, I'm next to Libra rising and sun. The Scorpio new moon happening on November 20th is taking place in your second house. And there is something shadowy that's going to come up with this new moon, and then a breakthrough around that shadow, because there's this whole stellium Scorpio stellium in your second house, and it's opposite Uranus in your eighth. I kind of want to like preface your reading by saying this is not shade, but I think that this is like part of what I'm seeing. If it doesn't resonate, then that's fine. You can watch something else. But I'm pulling cards for part of what your shadow is. And I got the King of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Six of Wands. These are inherently positive cards. But so when I see something positive, to me, it means that the way that they can come out as a shadow is either that you are lacking this positive energy or that there is an excess of it. So to start off with the excess, this is to me somebody who is like really confident, very like self-assured that they have the answers, that they know what is right. And that's a very common experience also with the ruler of this moon, Mars, in Sagittarius in your third house. There can be like a sense of like hubris or pride, or like, I know the answer to this. I have the right idea. I have the right formula. And it can make you kind of like dominate something, like a conversation, or it can make you insist. With this Knight of Cups, it could be somebody, I see it somebody like even a romantic interest of like, I know that you want to be with me. So like, let's just go. Come on. I know you want, I mean, this is just an example. I'm sure that does not resonate with you guys, but it's an example of how that I see this energy of somebody who thinks they know what is best in a situation and is coming from a really confident place and is kind of insisting because they feel very strongly about what their intuition is saying or what they think is right in a situation, even if it involves other people or other people's emotions or complex like relationship stuff. This is a new moon in the second house, so it could also involve like finances and how people rely on one another and work together. in the material world. But there's something about that where it's like part of the shadow is not, this is like a feeling very free to express yourself, feeling uninhibited when, and not that you want to inhibit yourself, but there's sometimes there is something around like self-restraint and like waiting to listen, taking more information in, leaving room for assumptions that you maybe don't know something, or that there's stuff that you can't see or understand yet, like waiting for something to unfold. And that's the kind of energy I'm seeing. I think that there's been like maybe too much like of a presumption of like, I know how this is going to go already. I already see what this answer is. I already know the path ahead, or or I'm the one in control of the situation in my life. And there's something about this with the Uranus opposition to this new moon that's saying there's something untamable about life, about emotions, about people, about relationships, about dynamics, about the events that are going to unfold. There is so much that you don't know about. There's so much that humans can't grasp onto and learn about and understand and tame through our intellect, or that we don't have all the answers around something. And so, yeah, that's what I think that this breakthrough is with the Fool and the Empress. There's something here around realizing that you are the more that you open to the things that you don't know and leave room for mystery and for magic and for the universe to give you things, instead of you having like a structure and an idea and a routine and everything set in place, the universe can kind of come in and say, and can wipe all that stuff off the table and say, actually, there's this relationship or this opportunity or this thing that you never considered, or this opinion that you never thought about, or this conversation that you never had. And how does this change things for you now that you see this? And so it's like, yeah, it's like saying, don't get stuck in a specific way of thinking about things or a specific idea, because the universe wants to provide you with something entirely new that you're going to just receive. And that's going to maybe throw you off a course that you thought you were on, or off a specific mindset that you thought you were going down, that you thought you were having. And it's like, actually, the universe is going to give you another kind of commitment with the Ring card to a person or a path or an opportunity that is, again, not necessarily something that you had planned, or wasn't something you were anticipating, or wasn't something you believed initially or thought about initially. There's something about that. It's like recognizing that you can be a beginner in something, or try something entirely new, or receive something unexpected. There's something about that, and it's going to actually benefit you greatly. So that's part of your breakthrough, is returning to a beginner mindset, and almost like a humbleness of saying, I thought I knew something, and now that this new thing is introduced into my life, I realize I actually don't know. So it's like, I thought I wanted to be this kind of person, but now that I met this person, now I'm like, wait, I never considered that. And this is actually way better than what I had previously thought about. Or I'm going to humble myself enough to make room for other possibilities, other alternative truths or possible paths, and be able to commit to those or jump down one of those, and realize that there's so much prosperity and gift by making room for the unknown. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Libra. I'm super curious what this pertains to. So if you let me know in the comments down below, I really appreciate it. Maybe this is something around finances. Maybe it's something around love. Could be a lot of different things. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and I hope that you guys have a beautiful day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share with your friends, hype it, and I hope, again, you have a beautiful day. Okay, bye. All right, I'm next to Scorpio rising and sun. This new moon on November 20th is happening in your first house, Scorpio. So it is going to bring the potential for quite a lot of dynamic energy right now, especially because I think that this new moon is bringing up a little bit of shadows. So you might see some of the shadow self come into play. And then with the ruler of this moon, Mars in Sagittarius, we might see a little bit of that shadow coming from a place of excitement and like impulsivity and almost like an over optimistic mindset. And then I also see some type of breakthrough because this whole stellium in Scorpio is opposite Uranus in the 7th. So let me get into it with the cards. So we start off with the 8 of Swords in reverse and the 3 of Wands upright. To me, this is somebody who really like lets their guard down and jumps right into something, but this is talking about a shadow. So the 8 of Swords, when it's upright, is somebody really thinking through things and maybe being a little anxious, but they don't move forward because of that. They tend to overthink. But because it's in reverse in the shadow next to the 3 of Wands, I almost feel like you're not thinking about something enough. It's like you're pushing forward anyway. And I can see with the she who instigates leadership, provocation, and power, there's something here around wanting something to be a certain way. So you kind of push forward despite the warning signs. You like kind of forcing something, using your agency, your power, your leadership over your life to make decisions that move something forward that may impact somebody else even, especially with this Uranus opposition to 7th. It may impact somebody else and you are not heeding the warning signs even though it could negatively impact both you and another person. And that's what I see with the Queen of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Some of you guys could be in a situation where you're making a financial decision that's going to affect you and your partner, for example, and you make it anyway, and it leads to a negative outcome with the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a potential, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this is saying that there is some kind of outcome that is going to have some type of like repercussion in your life, maybe in your material life or in your relationship life, or just in your well-being that can lead to some type of dysfunction or failure or like something not working out. So, I bought a car, but it was a lemon, or I rushed into this relationship and it was not the right one, or I decided to go on that trip and I ended up getting hurt and the trip got ruined. So it's like pushing something forward, even though maybe somebody else is telling you not to, or you're again, there are warning signs or there's resistance or something around it that's saying, don't do it. And you do it anyway. And it has some negative repercussions if you did do it. However, I think most of you are going to have a breakthrough around this where you're going to be able to stop the negative consequences of something where you maybe have been pushing it forward. So it's like, okay, where have you maybe been overly forceful? Where have you maybe been rushing? And it doesn't even have to be like one instance. It could be something that you're repeating. Like if you, I hate to use him as an example, but my brother hurt his foot and he keeps walking on it and keeps doing stuff on it. So it's like, that's an example of, maybe needing to heed caution, but not always doing it. So that's what I see with the breakthrough. And I think it will come from somebody else because of this Uranus opposite the moon and Uranus being in your relationship sector. I think that you could receive advice with this owl card from a mentor, from a doctor, from a friend, from somebody who knows more about a situation, even people online who might know something about a situation more than you do. So you might seek some counsel or advice from a lawyer. Again, just somebody who can read the situation clearer than you can. Or even just your intuition at the very least, like trusting spirit and your intuition and the signs that something else is going on here, and getting, again, a greater read on the situation so you can make a more discerning decision. And I see with the Magician and the 3 of Cups, it is going to lead to some kind of positive breakthrough for you, some kind of positive decision for you. The Magician is somebody who uses their own talents and like uses the energy of a situation in the best possible way to get a joyous outcome for all with the 3 of Cups. So if this is involving somebody else, like I'm trying to think. So like the example I gave is if you are married and you bought a lemon and your partner told you not to do it and you did it anyway, that would be negatively affecting both you and them and your finances that you share. So the way around this would be to maybe have a mechanic look at the car and they see that's not a good car. And so maybe you do some online research around the best cars in your area. And you take advantage of this, like the energy of the situation. Maybe there's a better deal. Maybe there is like a different way that you can buy a car, like maybe from an individual and not a car shop or whatever. So this is a stupid example, but I think you guys understand what I mean, that there's tools at your disposal right in front of you that you can use to manipulate the situation or to work with the situation in a way that will benefit everyone involved and not just push something forward despite it not being in your best interest or the collective best interest or view in that person. So that's what I'm saying. I've seen that you guys are going to be able to heed advice and have a positive outcome for everyone. So that's what I see for you, Scorpio. If that resonates or if that makes sense for you, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Sagittarius rising and sun. This Scorpio new moon happening on November 20th is taking place in your 12th house. And what's common with the 12th house is things that you cannot see. And this Scorpio new moon in particular has some kind of shadow element. And it's going to be obviously even more shadowy in the sense that it's invisible for you, but it will be awakened or brought to light and have some kind of breakthrough because of the Uranus opposition to this new moon and Uranus is in your 6th. There's something related to work here. So I pulled some cards, the she who prepares, formulate, strategize, devise, and the Emperor card and the Chariot card. I feel like you guys have been planning something. You guys have an idea of how something is going to go. You have been putting something into motion through sheer will and determination and a set and focused mindset. And this is the problem because you don't realize with the Devil card that you are actually playing it small. So you made some kind of plan with something in your mind without realizing that you are like pushing something forward that is limited in scope, that doesn't have maybe the full traction to take you all the way to where you want to go, that maybe is you're playing it too small. Like it's literally like, let's say you've been training and you have a lot of innate skill as a soccer player and you try out for like, and you're this big man and then you try out for like a little kids league. It's like, yeah, you could play in that league, but you're mismatched energy wise. Like you're way bigger than these other kids. You know what you're doing to such an extent. You're overpowered, if that's a video game thing. I don't know. Like you're literally overpowered for the role that you're in. So there's something about that with this Devil card where you're unconsciously limiting yourself to playing smaller, to dumbing something down to a shorter scope or smaller scope that it doesn't need to be, but you are employing all these like grand resources and efforts and everything for something that doesn't have the capacity to hold all of you in the way that you deserve. So part of your breakthrough, I think, with this Mars ruling this new moon and Mars being in Sag, being in your first house, is recognizing how capable you are, how you might be like undermining your potential. And I see that with this Ship card. This has a lot to do with like business ventures and overseas ventures and traveling to new places and broadening your horizon. So there's something about this where you are meant to explore uncharted territory, where you're supposed to push the boundaries of what you thought was possible, where you might be able to even work or travel internationally in whatever this is involved in. You have so much more capability, so much more outreach that you could do, especially with Mars in your sign. You have more energy, more potential than you realize, but you've been playing it safe. And so part of the breakthrough for you is the Four of Pentacles Judgment card, is this awakening realization to, I don't need to play it safe. Let me put down my security back there. So this is like if you were trying to start a business and you were thinking, okay, I'm only going to do it a little bit at a time and I'm not going to take out any loans. I'm going to build it up for 10 years instead of trying to do it in 2 with a loan so that I don't take out financial risk. And this is saying, but you are really skilled at what you do. You've been doing it for a while already. Why don't you invest in it? Why don't you take a risk with it? Why don't you show yourself that there is some way that this can grow for you. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. If you risk something or push the envelope and go into new territory, believe that you can meet and rise to that challenge and overcome that challenge. With the Four of Pentacles in reverse, it's about getting out of your comfort zone, getting out of your desire to be secure and to do things really cautiously. And it's saying to kind of jump into it with a sense of self-belief and courage that you maybe didn't think was there. And with the Two of Wands and the Six of Wands, I think you're meant to make a plan. Part of your breakthrough is making a plan with the frame or the mindset of this is going to work. I can do this. I am accomplished. I'm more successful than I realize. I actually have more fans or like supporters or people out there who want what I have to offer. And so when I expand in this way, I will be met with the universe saying like, yes, finally, here you are. We've been waiting for you. Instead of the opposite, right? So I think that you guys are going to have the ability right now to look into the future and see greater things for yourself than you've been currently or previously imagining. So that's what this Scorpio new moon is about. It's about breaking open your horizons, increasing your level of like the way that you see your potential, and believing more in yourself that you can reach for bigger things and not be overpowered or like overcharged, supercharged in a small little thing that doesn't have the capacity to hold you. So keep that in mind. We want something that has more longevity, more range, more challenge for you, some level of, again, pushing outside of your comfort zone. We want to feel that edge of risk or discomfort as you move into a new kind of horizon. So that's what I see for you, Sag. If that resonates, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and hype the video, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, and I see I have Capricorn rising and sun. The Scorpio new moon on November 20th is taking place in your 11th house, and it's opposite Uranus in your 5th. So what are we experiencing here? I think that this new moon is really trying to bring you guys some awareness of your plan. And the Scorpio energy is going to bring about some kind of shadow. And I think that part of the shadow is coming from not having clarity for you guys. So I pulled some cards around it. I have the She Who Becomes card, which is a card that speaks about a journey. And then we have the Knight of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, Two of Swords in reverse, and then the Three of Wands. So starting with the Knight of Cups and Page of Pentacles, this is somebody who's like really excited about something emotionally. Maybe they feel really inspired by something. Maybe they feel intuitively guided to something. Maybe this is a new relationship, a new friend, a new venture that they want to go on, and they want to jump right into this like freshly, just like this new thing that doesn't have a lot of roots yet. The Page of Pentacles is something fresh. So this could be something, again, entirely new for you. So it's like I see you guys getting excited about something, wanting to jump in. But with the Two Swords in reverse and the Three of Wands, this to me says like unfit for travel. So this is like, you might not realize this is a longer journey than you were originally thinking, or that it's more complicated. This is like, for me, somebody who gets onto a boat and maybe they haven't packed enough water or food, and maybe it's foggy out and it's going to be a storm later, and they haven't prepared for any of this. Maybe they don't even know that it's going to storm later, and they don't understand that they are kind of going on a journey that could lead to trouble, or going on a journey that they're just not aware of the full context of, or aware of the like what is going to be required of them. And so they're just like jumping into it without a plan. Which is not very Capricorn, but there's something about this that feels like you are just really inspired by something, or really excited about someone or an opportunity, and it's going to want to make you act really quickly. But this has to do with the shadow. So the breakthrough that you're going to have, which is Uranus opposite in the 5th, I think is ultimately going to help you kind of either slow down or understand your sense of direction. With the crossroads card and the child card. Maybe for some of you, this is like, oh, I want to have a kid. And then you realize like, oh, wait, actually, I don't have any money planned. My body isn't prepared. My house isn't prepared. This is just an example of saying like, maybe you get baby fever one day and you're like, let's just do it. Let's just have a kid. And then you recognize that you're like, wait a second. Wait a second. If I want to do this, maybe I should be in preparation mode first and come at it from a place of knowing exactly what I'm getting myself into instead of getting swept up in the moment of like the baby fever. This is just an example, but you can extend that to your thing. So if there might be something in your life where you're at a crossroads, you need to make some kind of decision. You need to know, am I going this way or am I going that way? And this is actually an important decision. So keep in mind that just jumping head first, this can impact the course of your life long term without you realizing it. So don't just jump in head first to whatever this is. The child could obviously speak to a child, but it also speaks to something that is new, that is fragile, that requires like a lot of TLC to keep alive or to make sure that it goes well. So there's something like, again, quite like in its infantile, is that a word? In its infant stage. So you're at some kind of crossroads with that. I do think you're going to make the right decision with the Queen of Swords and the Six of Swords. This is somebody who is going to come from a clear head and have a plan and know why they're making the decision and what it's going to entail. And it's going to lead them to a successful and peaceful journey. Even if they're uncertain about how things are at this moment or whatever, it's going to help them get out of any rocky waters and into smooth waters if you've already committed to this decision. So this is, to me, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't make the decision. I think actually a lot of you will. But what it means to me is that it's going to have you gaining maybe more information, more clarity, or having more of a plan, slowing something down or thinking about something logically, kind of bulletproof facts of, this is how something like this should go, or this should be the doctor, this is how long we should take to prepare for the baby or whatever, like this, how much we should have in savings, like doing all this kind of research, or making sure that you're being very honest with yourself, exploring the situation from various angles, kind of like risk prevention. Yeah, something along those lines. It's like, let's make sure that we're doing this thing, but we want to be the most educated that we can possibly be so that we don't end up in a storm without having the preparation for, maybe a map or navigation of how to get out of that storm if we do encounter it. Because sometimes life does throw us curveballs, but we can also do as much preparation beforehand as possible to make sure that we can navigate that with ease. So that's what I'm seeing for you. I think that this is kind of an encouragement to make the decision, or just say yes to it. It doesn't have to be, but making the decision at this time and making it from a really clear-headed place is the goal. So that's what I see for you, Capricorn. If that makes sense for you, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hype the video, share it with your friends. Any support I really appreciate, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, next we have Aquarius rising and sun. So this Scorpio new moon happening on November 20th is taking place in your 10th house, and it is opposite Uranus in your 4th. So what is the Scorpio new moon bringing? First of all, some type of shadow to the surface, and then the Uranus opposition is going to bring the breakthrough, the truth, the realization that will help us cut through that shadow. So let's go ahead and break this down with the cards. I pulled the Page of Swords in reverse, and the the Four of Swords in reverse. So this is a card around having a lack of a plan. A new moon in the 10th house can absolutely speak to that. Maybe you don't have a specific plan for your career, for your retirement, for your future, for, whatever. Or maybe you do have a plan, but it's like you kind of threw spaghetti at the wall. So there's something about this where you might be engaging with life in a way that is kind of haphazard. This could be speaking to your finances. This could be speaking to the way that you socialize and who you spend time with. This could be speaking to your goals in your life, but it's like you're not engaging in it as much of an intentional way. So maybe you're hanging out with whoever comes along, or you're just kind of like, yeah, I'll just figure it out as I go with my plan, or I'll save money later, or yeah, I don't know. I'll get it done sometime this year. But yeah, there's this sense of like you could be engaging with people events, things, goals, ideas, again, in a haphazard, unconscious kind of way, or like chill kind of way that is actually coming from a place of shadow. And I feel like it's almost with this Four Swords in reverse, because you want to get out of the house, because you want to have something to do, or you're just like naturally restless, or you want some kind of stimulation, or you want some kind of change or some newness. And so you're like, yeah, I'll go and I'll buy that thing, whatever. It doesn't matter. Or I'll go on that trip, or I'll go hang out with this person and we'll just gossip. It's not a big deal. Or I'll spend my time doing this. It doesn't matter. It's like you're wanting some kind of like excitement or stimulation. So you're pursuing things without that intentionality. And I think what it's leading to is actually this feeling of like disconnect with the Four of Cups, like feeling a little bit disengaged with and not fulfilled by what you're doing. So if you are spending money, like maybe you're recognizing, oh, actually I'm not getting a lot of like joy and fulfillment out of the thing I just bought, or I just hung out with this person for an hour and they just gossiped about someone and now I don't even feel, like my cup is filled after that. I feel drained. Maybe I'm just like working towards something in my life, but unintentionally without timing. And it's making me feel like I have kind of this sense of like a wandering, meandering type of energy without being maybe focused and clear and purposeful with my days. So there's something about this where it's kind of like not using your energy and your clarity and your planning properly. And so because of that, you might be just like a little bit disengaged with some aspects of life. And also the she who surprises, surprise, discovery, revelation, you might not be prepared for the outcomes that can come as a result of a lack of intention with something. So you might be caught off guard at certain moments where you get to an outcome and you're like, oh, I actually don't have money in my bank and I wanted to go on that trip, but because I went on this other thing and did this other thing and spent money on that really carelessly, now I don't have the money I need. So there's this feeling of like, again, being caught off guard around the side effects or the implications of an unintentional life in certain ways. So part of the Scorpio new moon is going to be awakening the truth of what it is that you really need to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel emotionally fulfilled with this Uranus in the fourth, to feel stable. And with the Six of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, I see you guys understanding that there needs to be, maybe you need to save money. Maybe you need to have more of a financial plan or plan for your future. Maybe you want to only give your energy or your time or your resources to situations and people that give back to you, or that have like really good energy to them, that leave you feeling fulfilled. So there's something about this where you're focusing more on how to nurture yourself and how to get into situations or ways to spend time that is nourishing on all levels. So this could look like, again, not wasting time on social media. I know I mentioned that in other signs, because you're like, okay, I actually leave after scrolling on my phone. I spent all this time doing that, but I don't feel fulfilled. I actually feel anxious, or I feel restless. Or I don't want to hang out with that friend because I actually don't feel good around them. I want to go for a walk outside. That makes me feel good. I want to do this hobby that makes me feel good. I want to have this kind of schedule, this plan for my day, because that makes me feel like I'm moving towards something in my life. That's what I see here, is like you kind of getting clearer on what it is that you need to do with your time and actually spending your time on it. With the key card, this is the last one for your breakthrough. This speaks to you finding the solution to the problem, the key to turn the door, basically. So it's like the thing that is going to make the most movement in your life. Like it's going to represent, I guess, like a catalyst event almost of, okay, if everything is being based off of this decision of does this fulfill me, that is going to be the turning point, like the cog, I don't know, the center. I'm like not explaining that, but the center of a wheel, everything is going to turn from that place. So all the decisions that you make are going to be affected by this piece of clarity, this key piece of information, or this key question that you're going to ask yourself. And it can affect many, many areas of your life to bring more, again, intentionality to it and greater fulfillment and emotional satisfaction. And I think for many of you, it could have to deal with, again, how you spend your time and your money, especially, and like where you're going in life, or why you're doing what you're doing. So that's what I see for you, Aquarius. If that makes sense for you or resonates, let me know in the comments down below. Or if it doesn't, you can also do that too. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, hype the video. Any support is really appreciated. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, and last but not least, we have Pisces rising and sun. This Scorpio new moon on November 20th is taking place in your 9th house, and it's opposite Uranus in your 3rd. So one of the things I'm seeing with this new moon is some type of shadow with Scorpio stellium that is going to be revealed or have some sort of breakthrough around it with the opposition with Uranus in your 3rd. So that's what I've pulled some cards for here today. So we're going to start off with the shadow. We start off with the she who forgives, remorse, guilt, forgiveness. Some of you guys need to hear the message today that you should not let this person back into your life. You should not forgive and forget. I mean, you could forgive, of course, but don't just look past something and allow them back in. Some of you guys need to hear that message. Not relevant for everybody, but those of you who need to hear it, there it is. Even if that message isn't for you, there might be something here around guilt that is propelling the shadow within you right now. So keep that in mind, that if you're staying in some kind of situation, or if you're tolerating something, or again, looking past something, you might not realize that it's because of a guilty mindset. So we have the Hangman in reverse, which represents somebody who could be stuck in some kind of negative pattern that is keeping them on repeat, or stuck playing something out on repeat, and you might not realize it. So this is part of the shadow, is that I feel like there is some kind of like passivity where you're allowing something to happen here. With the Ace of Pentacles and the Moon in reverse, you are kind of like lying to yourself about how something isn't a big deal. So maybe it's like a new opportunity or a new thing coming along, but it's dressed, it might look new, but it's actually the same type of pattern as before. So like, let's say you got out of a toxic relationship. This could be you like jumping back in and getting right back into another toxic relationship. Just because it's a new person doesn't mean it's not the same vibe. So there's something like this where you might feel or you might let somebody back in. Your passivity might allow something to seep into your life. This could also be things like addiction. This could be things like wasting your time, focusing on the wrong things, giving your power away to certain people or situations. There's something about this where you might not realize that you're allowing something in because you feel bad, and you're like, oh, but I can't set a boundary there. Or, well, they said that they were sorry, so like, what's the harm in hanging out with them one more time? And it's like, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't allow this thing into your life. You need to have clear boundaries. I can see the breakthrough here with the Sun and the Mice card, indicating that there is some slow destruction, some slow eroding in your life with these mice that are eating away at your foundation within your walls, and you won't recognize it's happening if you just passively allow it. But this Scorpio new moon with the opposition with Uranus is going to illuminate the truth in the 9th house of what's really happening. It's going to give you the prophetic vision, which is the 9th house, of what your intuition is telling you is on the horizon. It's going to stare you in the face what the meaning behind these symbols are, that there is something discreetly undermining you, and again, slow destruction, slow erosion in your life. And the Sun card indicates the clarity, the sun setting, the sun rising and exposing the earth, and all the mice go scattering. That's kind of what I see visually. I feel like you guys are going to recognize that you can't just allow someone or something back into your life. Oh, I can just have one drink even though I've been sober for a year. No, you can't. You can't. Or I can just spend on that one thing. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to. No, you literally cannot do that, because it's just one today, and then maybe like 2 on Tuesday, and then 3 on Wednesday. And it's like, okay, but then your life spins out of control without you realizing, maybe not out of control, but it's undermining your well-being slowly but surely, and it's going to accumulate. And so the breakthrough that I see you guys having is this reality check with Uranus opposite this new moon is, and being really frank and really honest with yourself. And maybe you even hear this online from me or from a friend or from some kind of communication somewhere where you are kind of shaken back into reality of like, no, I can't allow that or do that thing. And so the breakthrough here with the eight of Pentacles in reverse, the visual that came for me for this was like having mold in the foundation of your house and peeling back each tile on your roof or wherever the leak is, and slowly undoing the thing in your life that is the problem, because it might have already started to build up. You might have already started to hang out with that person sometimes, or I'll just eat like cookies in my evening and it's not a big deal. Again, it's going to look different for everybody. And I see you slowly starting to peel that back. So maybe you start hanging out less and less. Maybe you start replacing that junk food with fruit and kind of wean yourself off of this thing that you maybe have slowly been introduced back into your life that is hurting you in the long run. So slowly removing it, unbuilding it, aka destroying it. And then we have the Page of Pentacles, which is, okay, what are we going to put in its place? What is something maybe new or fresh that is going to allow us to grasp on to something that is going to be, the new beginning with the Fool card. Something new that is going to be good for us. So kind of focusing on something else, basically. So again, with the junk food thing, maybe you start getting really excited about going to this workout class every day and you build a community around it and you're like, okay, yes, this is building a positive, healthy habit and something else I can focus on instead of coming home and doom scrolling or eating this candy or having sex with random people. Like maybe you focus your energy on going on a date, or you know what I'm saying? I'm done giving examples, but there's this idea of needing to have a fresh start, have a clean slate, fully remove that thing, even if it takes some time, fully remove it, free yourself from it, liberate yourself from it, and instead start to build something else in its place. Because whatever this thing is, it's slowly going to tear away at your foundations, and you deserve better than that, Pisces. So that's what I see for you. If that resonates, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye.